Good afternoon, welcome to Forwards. Just thought we'd start the video slightly different today. This is the component parts of Lee Shirley's bike. It's in for a teardown service before it goes off with him to Nice. So we have taken these parts off and washed them in the parts washer, and they have now been air dried with the compressor, and they're waiting to be polished individually and then assembled into their separate parts. So i.e. the mechanism will be assembled, and then we'll assemble the chain set, put the hub body and stuff back on the wheel, and then when we've got all those individual bits assembled back up, we will then put the bike back together. So I'll just show you a couple of the items so you can get an idea how clean they are. So this is the cassette. As I said, it's been through our parts washer, then it's been air dried with compressed air, and then we will put some polish on that as well in a second. The bike runs the Silca hot wax, which I'll show you a bit later in the video. And this is the Di2 rear mech. So old Tegra, it's obviously running 11 speed. We put the little blanking caps in the port to stop that getting contaminated when we wash it. So that's the mech. I should be able to zoom in there. Still got my cold, so my voice is a bit funny, sorry about that. So there we go. So this all has to be lubricated because it's just come out of the parts washer. The parts washer does have an inhibitor in the fluid as well to protect it from rusting, but that will need to be oiled and greased and stuff. And then the individual jockey wheels have all been taken off and cleaned. I think my hands and fingernails are dirtier than the actual components, but sorry about that. I've not got manicured hands. Anyway, so there you go. That's that. Chain rings, I'll show you how clean those are. It's really important for us to do the dry cleaning as well because it gets them to come up really well. And then we even take all the bolts out of the crank arms and stuff, clean out all the grease inside the splines, and then we'll apply new grease on that. And then that's the back of the crank arms. That's probably about it. So we'll see you a little bit later in the video, and I'll show you some other parts of the cleaning, and then we'll do a tour of the bike when it's all finished at the end. So over to the chain. This is Lee's chain. It's been degreased while we were doing the rest of the bike, or the rest of the components should I say, and then cleaning the frame. This was purchased from us beforehand, and we've also did a Silca hot wax optimization on it, so he's been running that since this chain was new. It's in perfect order still, so we have cleaned it in the tanks and we're going to re-optimize it for him. So we just took it back again to the bare chain, and it's been drying off and it needs to go back into the optimization tank. I will turn it on off screen because if you've watched our optimization video, it's quite loud. So that will be going on while we're polishing the other parts and getting the components ready to go. I'll see you a bit later on in the video. Hi, thanks for watching another video from Forwards. We have Lee's Factor 02, which has just been in for a full teardown service, ready for Nice in about a week's time. I think he's heading off this weekend. We've got a few bikes in at the moment actually being prepped for going abroad, and we'll do one later this week on Will's bike, which is a Canyon. So we'll just go over Lee's service, what he's had done, and just point out some bits and pieces about the bike as well. So first of all, we'll start with the frame colour, which is how we start our custom build videos. So Lee's bike's in superb condition. He looks after it really well. It comes in to see us sort of annually or before any big events. What we've done with his frame is very similar to Russ's S-Works that was in last week, but we didn't need to do the cut stage. So this has had the full resin polish and the extra gloss polish on it. So the bike was stripped down to the frame. Not quite as far as Russell's because we weren't doing a full rebuild, but far enough that we could get to everything to get the frame polished up nicely. So it's a Factor 02, size 54, and it's finished, as you can see, with the blend from the sort of pastel blue colour through various grades into the silver, and then the back is the raw carbon. So we've got the raw carbon down there as well. It's a size 54, as I said. I'll just go over some of the sizing on the bike, and then I'll just show you what we've done for the servicing. So He's got the integrated black ink cockpit. The cockpit on this is 42 wide, 110 long and a -6 degree. What we've had to do with this is just rewrap this section of the tape during the service. So we've just rewrapped the factor tape that he had rather than doing the whole thing again. The tape is actually very similar to what we use anyway, but this has the factor logo. So we had to unwrap it back to here and then rewrap. And the reason we had to do that was for a problem he had with his brakes. So one of the main issues it had was a couple of brake issues, but one of the key ones was the cable, or the hose should I say, had kinked here. And it had done that where it goes in a bike bag or bike box. So Lee has actually changed his bike bag now, and the one he uses now, the actual frame, the cockpit stays in the right place, so it doesn't have to fold back on itself, but this one did, and it kinked the hose, which caused us no end of trouble with the rear brake. So we've had to replace that whole hose, which did mean quite a lot of stripping down. So we had to take all the headset out, so take this out, and then we had to take the bottom bracket back out again, and then we had to reroute the hose through the inside, putting some anti-rattle inside this tube. We changed the anti-rattle in there as well. So that's all done nicely now. And then we've heat shrunk his Di2 cable into the brake hose, the same as we do on the Forwards One when we do our custom builds. So that's all finished off nicely there and has solved the braking problem. So he has nice brakes again. So we did some brake pads on it as well. So he's had brand new brake pads front and rear. Lee's running the Ultegra rotors with the Ultegra calipers. This has the 11-speed Ultegra Di2 group set. Andy, you're going to be getting very upset at me because I'm jumping about a lot on this video. Sorry about that. So he's running Ultegra group set with the 50-34 front and then a 172.5 chain set length, or crank length, should I say. Ultegra 11-speed Di2 rear mech, matching Di2 front mech, obviously. And we've done our normal O-ring around the mech hanger to keep this out the way. That's quite important for someone like Lee, who's taking the wheels on and off when he's putting it into flight cases or flight bags. So that's quite good. Rear cassette is 1130 11-speed, and we have refreshed his Silca hot wax. So Lee uses Silca hot wax anyway. We've done that previously for him, but what we've done is we've stripped and recoated it ready for his knee strip, and then he'll take a little top up with him as well, so that he can just keep that up together when he's away. So we've done that as well for him. Updated his Di2, that needed updating. All the bottle cages and stuff would have come off. Obviously we've cleaned them individually. He has got his own bottle cage bolts. We won't dare change these because they're factor ones. He'd get upset if we did that. So that's little aluminium factor bolts in there. So we haven't put our stainless steel ones on, what we normally do. He does have a tiny chimney, so that's another thing we look out for. So he's got a little one. This just came from factory, so it's just 5mm top chimney on there as well. And that's it. So brake pads, I think I've covered. I've said I've done that. Hot wax chain. I'm just having a look at the bike now. So it's got black ink wheels. That's what comes with it. These are all ceramic bearings, all this stuff. I forgot to mention that. So it's got ceramic speed bearings on the wheels, on the bottom bracket, and possibly the headset as well. I believe the headset's ceramic as well. He's running the P0 Race TLR tyres in a 700 by 30, wherever that is on the tyre. And then as part of the teardown, we do take the tyres off of the rims and clear out any sort of clumped up sealant inside there, and then just renew his sealant. So we've done that all for him as well. We've also replaced his valves. They were a bit clogged, a bit past being able to clear, so we put some new valves in there as well for him. And I think that's probably covered it. It definitely took a lot longer to do the service than it has for the 6 minutes it's taken me to record this. But that's it. So she's all ready to go for his trip. He'll be collecting it a little bit later. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll continue doing these teardown service videos if you do. If not, just let us know, and then we can do something else instead with our time. But there we go. So we'll just do some quick zoom shots a second so you can see the detail of the service, and then we'll see you on the next video. Thanks very much for watching.